Good afternoon once again. We're joined now by head coach Mick Cronin of the UCLA Bruins. Coach Cronin, congratulations. Thanks for joining us here this morning or this afternoon. And depending on where you are, where the media is, can you please begin with an opening statement? Then we'll take some questions.
Do my best. I'm a little tired. Obviously, we're extremely excited to be alive. Again, Alabama is just an unbelievable team and a great season. Took everything we had to get that victory. 6 guys in double figures really embodied what we've been in my time at UCLA. It's just here in the tournament, Johnny and Jaime have been carrying our scoring. But our resiliency continues to be the key to our team. I give all the credit to our players. You got to want to win more than the other team. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be just willing to give up your body and everything, and that's what the guys did last night because Alabama's a tremendous basketball team. Obviously, Michigan's going to be a great challenge. Juwan Howard, Coach Howard, does a great job. They're extremely efficient. I mean, they carve you up. So it's going to be a different type of game. Obviously, Alabama was unbelievably fast in transition, where Michigan's Big Ten basketball physical, but their execution is extremely impressive. Their unselfishness and their execution, their assist-to-turnover ratio in their last 5 to 10 games is unbelievable. So that, and they got seniors. They got great senior guards. So we got our work cut out for us.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now begin with questions. Let's start with Ben Bolch of the LA Times.
Hey, Coach Cronin.
What's up, Ben? You not getting any sleep like me?
Yeah, I could use a few hours. Your dad has kind of outlasted Sister Jean as the ultimate fan symbol of this tournament. Have you been able to catch any of the shots of him, like watching replays on television? What's that meant to you, and what was your interaction with him between the end of last game and now?
I talked to him about an hour ago. We talk obviously since this pandemic, so we talk on the phone all the time. But it's tough. I don't see a lot because the films I get, videos, I should say, films an old school term, that are cut up. So I don't have the dead time of, I have very little of those shots in the stands and all that type of stuff. But obviously it's when to be able to have your father here throughout all this has been awesome. Anytime, and that just permeates down, right? For all my friends and family, for the families, it's such a great thing, great event for all of our kids, their parents, to have them here. When we couldn't have fans, at our games all season. So obviously it makes it even more special for our guys, the fact that we were playing in empty gyms all year to finally have our loved ones at the games. But my dad wouldn't like that reference. He's 79. He thinks he's 59. So we have to remind him at times.
Do you guys have plans to get together after the tournament's over in person?
I don't really know the rules on all that, with this bubble. But regardless, Ben, he'll be coming to L.A. As soon as everything's over, and I would say everything's over one way or the other next Monday night. So he'll be in LA in short order. I can promise you that.
Thank you.
Let's take a question from Adam Grossbard of the Orange County Register.
Do you guys know as well as anyone what it's like for a team to have to adjust on the fly to losing a key senior? Just what do you think about the way Michigan has played without Isaiah Livers?
I don't know if you know this, we did the same thing with Chris Smith. That's why you got other guys on your roster. Brandon John's a good player. Brown's a good player. Just, all it does is create opportunity for your guys that are quality players. They just might be you might just have a little bit better advantage with a Chris Smith or a Livers, but it gives, for us, it's been able to give other guys opportunities, and their guys are making the most of it. I think that, the longer it goes, the more those particular guys are getting quality minutes instead of shorter minutes. they get better at playing those extended minutes. Because when you had Livers or you had Smith, or we had Smith or they had Livers, that those guys would play shorter minutes. So that is an adjustment. But I think those guys had enough games now where they've adjusted.
Just at this point,
Adam, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, just at this point, how much game prep have you been able to do with the quick turnaround for Michigan?
Me personally or our team?
The team.
Team's in film right now with the assistant coaches. Why, I have to fulfill my NCAA obligations.
Let's take our next question from Sam Connon, Daily Bruin.
Hey, Coach. So just to go back to last night, Tiger, I think it was in the first 5 minutes, drew 3 offensive fouls. Was that something that you saw specifically in the game plan with Alabama, or is that just something that you've been working on with him over the course of the season, trying to get him to kind of make those kind of plays defensively when he doesn't really have much of a size advantage or something like that?
Well, he doesn't lack for toughness now. He leads us on the team in charges taken. So that not a surprise to me. Alabama's a team that plays extremely fast. So they get going so fast that if you we felt we could get, Herb, one thing we saw on film study was Herb Jones jumped off 1 foot a lot because he went so hard at the rim. So we felt we could draw some charges on him if we were in position.
Let's take our next question from Nikki K, Spectrum LA.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. I know there's been a lot of attention on your dad in the stands, but your daughter also being there, you guys have a pretty close rapport. What she thought about all of this increased attention and the success you guys have found so far?
Well, like any 14-year-old, she's happy that she's on spring break. I also have a longtime girlfriend and a stepson. They're both he's 15. He's out of his mind. He and my brother, if you had the camera on them, it would be pure entertainment because they go absolutely nuts during games. They get so nervous they can't eat before games. But my daughter and I are extremely close, Nikki. I'm fortunate. My ex-wife flew in from LA for the game. But my daughter and I spent half of her time for years of my life while I was building a program at Cincinnati with just me and her. Sitting on the floor, playing every game a dad's ever had to play. No nanny. I never did it that way. It was just me and her. So I did it all. Hair, all of it. I perfected all the things a mom could do while I was, spent half of her life where she's just alone with me. So it's nice that she's old enough now she can do her own hair. But I've trained her not to live and die with whether we win or lose. That I wanted her life to be about her. I think too many times, my opinion, that coaches' kids, they can get so wrapped up in the team and their dad's job. So sometimes you can see her. She's got a book up in the stands. So they put it on. She's liable to be reading a book. She's a voracious reader and a great kid. That's a very, very hard thing for me. Like you say, a lot of us talk about my dad, but not being able to see her or hug her. But she's happy right now. She's on spring break.
Wonderful. And one more here from me. You knew when you inherited this roster, it was going to be about the buy-in from the guys. But how have you seen that buy-in transform not only into belief, but to confidence that they're capable of belonging on this stage?
Yeah, it's a great question. The buy-in's been great. It's just, I think what people want to say is they finally bought in when you win a game. They've been great all along, but training takes time. It takes time to build habits. And all kinds of habits, not just basketball habits, right? 2 hands on the floor, 2 feet on the ball, talking on defense, building toughness. Then I think, the last piece for us, particularly this year, because we had no offseason, 6 months with no team, was not about me. It was about them, really coming together as a group and having to go through so much adversity with losing Chris Smith and then losing Jalen Hill. And then being able to stay confident through everything that we've been through and leaning on each other Love is a powerful thing. When you start playing for your teammates instead of yourself, that's when you can achieve special things in team sports.
Next question for Bob Wojnowski of the Detroit News. Bob, unmute yourself and you can deliver your question. All right, let's move on to Andrew Kahn of the Ann Arbor News.
Hey, Mick, I've got a 3-year-old girl. What age do they learn to do their own hair?
It was around 13, 12.
Oh,
I think she knew how to do it, but mom just tell her wash your hair. But dad with his daughter, let's just say I'm not real good at saying no.
Sure.
I'm just going to admit that. So I'm definitely the soft one of the parents.
All right, thanks. That's not my official question. Many of my readers don't know, much about your team aside from whether they've, whatever they've seen over these NCAA tournament games. I guess if you wouldn't mind explaining from your perspective, what your team has done better these last couple of weeks than maybe, the 2 months before that.
Well, we've been taking care of the ball. We're shooting a high percentage in the tournament, and I think we're giving up 24% from the three-point line in the NCAA tournament. So our defense has been ratchet. Our defense since the first half against Michigan State, they really executed well and made shots. But since then, our defense has been much better. It's been much more consistent. I think the Pac-12 is a really good league, and when we lost two key guys, we had to reinvent ourselves defensively, and we've just learned to play harder and be more consistent with our defensive effort. But if you look at our numbers in our last 4 games, our field goal percentage defense is so much better than it's been. Similar to Michigan, Michigan did it all year. That's why they're a 1 seed. They shoot 48 and give up 39. So, but we're a team we got a lot of guys can score the ball. We shoot the ball. We've got some guys that can make shots now. We can spread you out. And we have to do that because we're not a powerful team down low, other than really Cody Riley.
Let's go to Orion Song of the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Mick, I was just wondering what your first impressions are of Franz Wagner as a defender.
I really don't have any because then I would give you strategy. I apologize for that. But I would say that, again, my impression of being up all night is that Coach Howard does an elite job. He doesn't do a good job. He does an elite job. When your team is as organized as they are on both ends and plays as physical and as tough as they do, that's a reflection of their coach.
Let's go to Connor Brennan from the Michigan Daily.
Yeah, Mick, kind of going off that, I was just wondering what matchups, if any, kind of keep you up at night or will keep you up tonight going into tomorrow from a Michigan perspective.
Look, they get really good players, so everything does. But I'll give you one good one. Okay, I don't have to play Juwan one-on-one.
Next question for Tracy Pearson.
Hey, Mick, what kind of addition has Mike Smith been to that Michigan roster as a grad transfer from Columbia? And talk a little bit about how the ability to transfer to in college basketball, if you think how it's impacted the sport.
Oh, it's impacted the sport immensely, and it's going to be crazy, going forward. My concern, to get on my soapbox about the free transfer, where guys aren't sitting out, I think everybody looks at it one way. They shouldn't have to sit out. It's why penalize the kid? And I totally understand that. You never want to penalize a student athlete. But my concern is, will it negatively affect graduation rates? Because obviously, I've had multiple guys redshirt and sit out in my career, whether transfers. I redshirted a lot of guys at Cincinnati, and every one of them graduated. And when you sit in my chair and you're the person that's trying to help young guys get a job when they're done playing in Europe and assimilate into the workforce, and they need to have their degrees. So it's my hope that the 1,000 guys in the transfer portal, that if they don't have to sit out, do their credits transfer, and are they going to get their degree? Because I think that's the most important thing. Not that I want to have them penalized sitting out. I just think I'm hoping that it's not a negative side effect. But they got a couple of them, Tracy, right? Smith and Brown. Obviously, Smith he's Columbia, correct?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, great player. I mean, tremendous player. So, I obviously, you said, well, where would they be without him, right? But that, they got him, so that doesn't matter. But to be able to get a veteran guy like him that takes, his assist-to-turnover ratio is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So, good defender, takes care of the ball. Just a really, really good player. So, great for the kid. He gets to play on the big stage, and it's been great for Michigan. So it's been a win-win for both of them.
Seems like that's been one of the few matchups this year for Tiger Campbell where he might be matched up against a guy his own size.
Yeah, it's not likely unless he plays me one-on-one.
Coach, your final question this afternoon comes from Andre Monroe.
Coach, after a rocky regular season, into the regular season, what has allowed you guys to kind of kick into another gear and now advance to Elite 8?
We played really well at the end of the season. We just didn't win a few of those games. So, things happen at the end of games, and we played really, really good teams. 2 of them are still alive. Outside us, 2 of them are 2 of the 7 teams alive in college basketball. So, in my view, we didn't have a rocky end of the season, but, I understand that's how everybody. But I would give you this. Look, our defense is why we're alive, and our defense is why we will survive. Because we got multiple guys that can shoot the ball. So, we share it. The guys, the guys believe, they're aggressive. They're not afraid to pull the trigger. And that's how I want them on the offensive end. The big question is with Michigan's efficiency and their talent and their play calling, will we be able to continue to defend the way we've defended here lately?